everybody, it's DJ, aka RaisorBlade, and I just saw Dragon Ball Super Broly the movie. It finally came out tonight, or at least it did in America. It was released back in December in Japan, but we got the English dub tonight, which is the version I saw, and I love the English dub of Dragon Ball over the Japanese sub. I think the majority of audiences do. The voices just fit way better to many people and stuff like that. I have respect for the sub, but I will agree with everybody, the dub just fits way better. Now, I went and saw this with a friend of mine named Eric, we're both hardcore Dragon Ball fans. We both love Dragon Ball. I'm sure a lot of you know. I myself am a huge fan of Dragon Ball. We all know this. Funny enough, he wore a Vegeta shirt and I wore a Goku shirt. We were like a pair. So that was pretty fun. We tried to get a bunch of people to come tonight, but the movie sold out. Which should come as no shock. This is actually the first ever, I think this was the first ever anime film released in theaters in America in IMAX, believe it or not. I don't know if I saw it in IMAX. I don't think I did, but regardless, it was still pretty fun to go see a Dragon Ball movie in theaters. I had never seen a Dragon Ball movie in theaters before, up to this point. This was the first ever Dragon Ball movie I saw in theaters. So, this was kind of a big deal. Not just because of that, but because the main character, the title character in this movie, Broly, this is a big deal for the universe of Dragon Ball because even though Broly's existed in Dragon Ball way back, and he has had his own movies, he's a fan favorite, he's been in video games, all that kind of stuff, he was never officially canon, which isn't that out of the norm for Dragon Ball, because there's a ton of characters who weren't really canon, Bardock wasn't officially canon, Goku's mother Gine wasn't officially canon, there's tons of other characters and villains who aren't necessarily canon in the world of Dragon Ball, but this movie, Bardock, Gine, Broly, they're all officially canon now. They're all real, they all exist in the Dragon Ball universe, and we'll probably see them more in the next Dragon Ball Super series, which has recently been confirmed by Toho, which shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, because Dragon Ball to Japan is like Star Wars to us, so it's it shouldn't be a big shock that we're going to get another Dragon Ball series, which I'm personally excited for. What did I think about the movie? As a Dragon Ball movie, honestly, it was pretty fucking amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I should probably go ahead and say that this is a movie for Dragon Ball fans only. If you've never in your life watched a single episode of Dragon Ball or don't know any of these people, don't go see the movie. You're not gonna know anything. You're not gonna know anyone. Yeah, you're gonna be so lost, and you're not gonna have an ounce of fun. But yeah, this is a movie that's supposed to kind of continue from where Dragon Ball Super left off, after the Tournament of Power, after they beat Jiren and all that kind of stuff. This is the movie that continues the story and will lead into the new show that's coming out, I believe, later this year. I don't know when it's coming out. It might come out later this year, maybe sometime even next year. I don't know. But yeah, we're getting a new show, and this movie's to lead into that. And this is canon-wise. It's kind of like the MCU in a certain way. Where you gotta watch this certain movie to know who this is and so on. You can't watch Doctor Strange and know. You can't skip Doctor Strange and without watching it. You can't I don't know how to talk. You can't skip Doctor Strange and then watch Infinity War. You have to watch Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange plays a big role in Infinity War. That's what I'm trying to say, alright? That's what this movie is like, okay? Only with Broly instead of Doctor Strange. That's what I'm trying to say. But, I guess I should go ahead and discuss this. Now, I'm not going to spoil things yet. I might get into spoilers later in the video, and I'll let you know when I get into spoilers, but for the most part, I'm just going to stick to the movie itself. Keep in mind, though, by the end of the day, this is still a Dragon Ball movie, so when it comes to, twists and turns and development and all that kind of stuff, it's still essentially a Dragon Ball movie, and by the end of the day, it's still just fighting. That's really all there is. So, I'll go ahead and start with the first thing that comes to mind when talking about Dragon Ball Broly. The animation. This is the first ever Dragon Ball movie to ever have a very unique style to it. I don't know their names, but I don't know the name of the person who was he was the art director for the Dragon Ball series. He's been the director for Dragon Ball for ever, since the beginning and stuff like that. This movie, however, decided to take it to a different direction and give it to a new director, and as a result, this new art director changed the style completely. As a lot of people might see, the style is very different from other Dragon Ball movies, but with that being said, that is not a problem. I remember when the first trailer was released for the new movie, everyone was like, what is this? It looks so weird. It looks so different. It looks so childish. And I don't understand when they say childish. I have no idea what they mean by that. I'm like, dude, it looks great. This animation style is so fluid. It looks so dynamic. It looks beautiful. The lines are very thin and stuff, but it's still really good. like, the animation in this film is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it looks absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Like, this is some of the best hand-drawn animation I've seen in a long time. One of the biggest problems I had with the last Dragon Ball movie, Resurrection F, was that during the fights, there was a lot of, like, CGI trying to blend itself in with the 2D animation. And honestly, it was pretty bad. It was distractingly pretty bad. Like, now, to be fair, there's some parts of the 3D animation that worked very well in the movie. Like, you got these giant, like, armies and stuff like that attacking the Z fighters and stuff in that movie. And, yeah, like, you gotta throw some CGI in the background. That makes it easier. That's one thing. But then you get to the part where Goku, as Super Saiyan Blue, is fighting Golden Frieza. They're both CGI, and it looks so fake. It looks so bad. It doesn't work here. This movie has CGI too, but because of the way the animation and the cinematography works, you barely even notice. You have to look very carefully to say when they're 3D and when they're 2D, and it looks fantastic. I'm like, dude, this is phenomenal. This is way better than anything like Treasure Planet or Tarzan ever did. Like, they did perfectly incorporated 3D animation with 2D animation. I was blown away by it. And not only that, but the cinematography, the way that the angles are moving during these fight scenes, like the camera's always spinning around, going up and down. I don't just mean just going around, I mean it's going like zip. Oh, it's moving everywhere. It's like the little guy on the cloud in a Mario game. He's like zipping around trying to follow Mario everywhere he goes. And I'm like, dude, these angles are so amazing. And mixed with the fast-paced action sequences, there's even this one sequence where we get a first-person perspective of Broly during his fight with Goku in the beginning, and it looks phenomenal. We're just looking at this whole entire sequence. We're seeing the way Broly sees during this fight. We're seeing his hand coming like that, like a first-person shooter or something like that, and it looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely insane. The animation is just spectacular. The transformations in this movie are epic. Like, they look so good. The voice work, this is the English I've been talking about. The voice work is, of course, phenomenal. It sounds amazing. There's even this really cool trick they did with the soundtrack and the score. Like, every once in a while, you'll hear in the background, like, this chorus yell the fighter's name. Like, when Broly's going crazy, you'll hear this little voice in the back going, Broly! Broly. It's like, dude, it fits so perfectly. It's like there's like a crowd cheering his name. And it goes for the other characters go. Like, you hear Kakarot, and then you hear Vegeta, then you hear Gogeta, and stuff like that. And yeah, that's not a big spoiler. Toho got rid of that spoiler super fast. Like, yeah, Gogeta's in the movie. That's one thing I hated about the marketing. They spoiled the shit out of Gogeta. I was really upset that they did that. I was like, really? You had to just fucking spoil the fact that Gogeta is now canon too? I hated that. I wanted so badly to be surprised by Gogeta, but no, they had to go and just spoil that with the marketing and stuff like that. But with that being said, that was easily the most phenomenal sequence in the entire movie. This entire sequence, for the most part, was done by Naotoshi Shida, who is one of Toho Animation's best animators, in my opinion. Like, he did work on Dragon Ball Super. He does work on shows like One Piece. He's working on a ton of shows at Toho. I don't really know any other specific ones outside of Dragon Ball and One Piece, but he is phenomenal. Like, he has a very unique style that is very distinguished and recognizable once you see it. And this work just blows my mind, dude. It looks so freaking good. Like, I heard a lot of people describe his animation style as you can drink his animation through a straw. And I think that's a pretty good assumption, because the animation in the sequence is absolutely fantastic. It's it's so fast and energetic. And again, this is done by one of the best animators in the company. The animation in this movie is already spectacular, but they got this guy, and he is at his fucking A game. He's bringing it home with this fight scene. It is absolutely spectacular. I honestly can't describe it. You'd have to just witness it. And yeah, even if you're not a fan of Dragon Ball, you can still watch this fight, and you have to give credit. Okay, this animation is absolutely phenomenal. The animation in this film, unbelievable. This is some of the best, again, I know I said already, this is some of the best hand-drawn animation I've seen in a long time. It is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I can see why this film sold out, because it is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. One of the best-looking movies of the year, hands down, in my opinion. I think this looks great. Hell, I think the animation alone could get an Oscar nomination. Not that it win, though, because we know the Oscars are fucking rigged, but that's how it goes. The color work is really great. The set locations are really great. The new character looks are looking good. All except Beerus. I thought Beerus looked a little funky. I thought he looked a little weird. He looked really scrunched up and honestly kind of incomplete. But he's barely in the movie, so that's kind of a nitpick on the animation. Everything else in this movie is very phenomenal. Well, okay, there is one sequence when Goku is Super Saiyan God, his red form, that does look a little wonky in some places, I will admit. Like, I think it's from the angles and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, it kind of looks like they're shooting the film through, like, a GoPro. Like, the backs are kind of, like, scringed together, while when it gets close, it, like, suddenly gets a lot bigger. That looks a little wonky, I will admit. But those are just nitpicks. Everything else in this movie is absolutely fantastic. Then we have the characters. As you can expect, Goku and Vegeta are just as you expect. They're Goku and Vegeta. They do their thing. Nothing truly substantial there. I mean, they're likable. I love these characters. But if you're expecting them to change or get better in this movie, no. They do their thing, and they do exactly that. It was awesome seeing Vegeta. It was awesome seeing Vegeta finally go Super Saiyan God. I mean, the red form, because we've never seen that before in the show. Like, that was always the thing that could be done in the manga, but for some reason the anime always skipped that. They never want to show Vegeta doing red for some reason, which kind of sucked, because I've always wanted to see him do red and stuff like that. But here in the movie, nope, Akira Toriyama said, nope, Vegeta's gonna go red. He's gonna go fucking red. We're not even doing Super Saiyan 2 or 3. We're only doing base forms, we're doing Super Saiyan, we're doing Super Saiyan God, and Super Saiyan Blue. There's no Super Saiyan 2, no Super Saiyan 3. Hell, not even Kaioken Blue or Blue Evolution. No. Just straight up the basic forms. Not that I'm surprised, because Kaioken Blue and Blue Evolution to Toriyama don't exist. Like, they exist in the show, but they're not in the manga. So, and this was written by Toriyama himself, so it makes perfect sense why neither of those forms exist in this movie. So, as far as we know in the movie, Kaioken Blue and Blue Evolution don't even exist. So, yeah, you gotta keep that in mind when you go see this movie. If you're hoping to see Goku use Kaioken times 20 Blue, it's not gonna happen. Not that it matters, because again, the fight in this movie is absolutely spectacular. And again, they do go Gogeta, which is fucking phenomenal. That's great. But then we get Broly. So, Broly is easily the most interesting part of this movie, because, again, he's a character that's existed for a long time, but, like, again, outside of his design, Akira Toriyama had virtually nothing to do with Broly. Not writing-wise, not character-wise, nothing. He had nothing to do with Broly at all. But this time, Akira Toriyama had total control of Broly. So we got a complete reimagining of who Broly is. Now, some things are, of course, very similar. They're virtually the same as from the old Broly. Like, he is, in the end, just a weapon to be used by Paragus, his father, to be, you know, just a weapon to try and get revenge against Vegeta and his father, who's obviously dead. But in this movie, they try and dive more into that. In the original Broly, they kind of make him mostly just a giant, angry, overgrown man-baby who's mad over the fact that Goku cried a lot, which kind of made him the butt of a lot of jokes, especially in the Team 4-Star dub, which is funny. In this movie, Broly has no idea who Vegeta and Goku even are, which feels a lot better. Like, this feels way more fresh. This feels a lot less laughable, for sure. And the backstory Broly has is surprisingly kind of very sympathetic. I won't go in much in the detail with it, because that'd be spoiling things, but let's just say that it's very sympathetic. You grow to really care for Broly, and you never once really feel like he's a villain in the movie, which I think kind of speaks a lot for the marketing, because the marketing himself also kind of built around the fact that Broly isn't necessarily the villain in the story. Like, you do have Frieza coming back and stuff like that. You also have Paragus who wants to kill Vegeta and stuff like that. Makes perfect sense. But even then, like, it's exactly what you would hope for Broly, because Broly does have that traumatic backstory and stuff like that. He did live on this very far away world where no one knew about him and such. And yeah, it kind of makes sense why he would have this backstory, why he is the way he is. Like, Broly's never drank water before, he's never eaten candy before. He doesn't know what any of these things are. All his life he's been killing animals and eating them and just kind of training and fighting on this barren world far away. And yeah, it's like it makes perfect sense why he's the way he is. And again, you feel really sorry for him, and it makes it all the more satisfying given how the movie ends, which again, I won't tell you now, but let's just say it's really refreshing that the movie took this direction rather than just the typical Dragon Ball direction, which, like, if you've seen how the last movie ended, then you probably know how that is, like, with Dragon Ball at this point, with villains and stuff like that. So yeah, it actually is very satisfying to see where they go with it, and it's going to be very interesting to see the direction that the movie takes the show into. Like, because the movie leads into the next show, and it's going to be really interesting to see how these new characters, they play into the next show. Because that's going to be really fun to see. So, there's some other unique characters, like this little green girl named Sheila, who is very likable. I really like her. She's very funny, got a great attitude to her, great personality. I like how she's like immediately sympathetic for Broly right away. You know, I kind of ship them, but not gonna lie, they're kind of cute together. Not gonna lie. There's this old orange guy. I honestly can't remember his name. Honestly, he's just kind of this old guy. He's kind of in the background. Really, doesn't really do much. Honestly, you could have written him out, and not much would have changed. Honestly, Frieza has these servants who really don't really remember them that well. That does lead me to the reason why Frieza wants the Dragon Balls in this movie. Very, very interesting reason for why he wants the Dragon Balls in this movie. I won't spoil it, but let me just say, it's not immortality. Like, he wanted immortality originally, but yeah, it's not immortality anymore. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. The one thing that definitely stood out in this movie was the humor in this movie. As a lot of you know, Dragon Ball is a very lighthearted series in some ways. The comedy is very great. There's this whole sequence where Bulma is talking about why she was gathering the Dragon Balls, because she wants to look younger, which fits perfectly with her character. Bulma is very self-conscious about her looks and stuff like that. Makes perfect sense that she would want to look younger. And she's very specific about it. She's like, I want to look 5 years younger. And Whis is like, why not 10 years younger? Because that'd be too obvious. And it's just, she goes on like a little rant about how that would be way too obvious. And I'm like, woman, just, Jesus, are you going to do this every 5 years now? And it's so complicated, but it's so funny the way they make it overly complicated. I just love it. It's really funny. It really is quite funny. The best joke, however, I can't spoil it. The best joke in the movie was near the end, right before Gogeta happens. The best joke in the movie, oh my god, the whole theater was dying laughing at what Goku and Vegeta did. It was so funny, it was so well placed. It feels like something they would fucking do. And oh my god, it killed the shit out of everybody. Me and Eric, we were falling out of our chairs laughing. It was so damn funny. We were like, oh my god, like, he wasn't ready! Oh, he needs some milk! And it was so fucking funny. Oh, it was like, one of the best jokes Dragon Ball's ever had. It was so fucking good. Oh, man. It was all around just very funny. I honestly think this movie was really good. Like, as a Dragon Ball movie, this was really good. This was really fun. This was really energetic. The animation is spectacular. The animation definitely takes a lot of risk and experiments for this movie. There's a lot of, like, unique sequences. Like this one sequence where Gogeta and Broly are fighting. They actually, like, accidentally end up in another, like, dimension. Like, it's kind of hard to explain what they did there. Like, I think what they did was they were so strong, they actually end up breaking the dimensions, and they end up in another dimension completely. Like, it was absolutely, it blew my mind. It was like, whoa, this is such a really cool thing. And then there's the actual fusion itself with Vegeta and Goku, like when they actually do the fusion technique. Like, they don't just, like, usually when they do the fusion technique in the show, they just do the finger thing, there's a bright light, and then boom, there's the characters. But this movie, no, they do something so unique. You see, like suddenly they're like the light shines, the characters they lose all their color, and they turn to just black lines. Then they start swirling around again like a big, like, tornado of, like, color. Like, you got Goku's orange, you got, like, Vegeta's blue, you got, like, swirling around and stuff, and, like, a big orange and blue tornado. It looks awesome. It's like, oh man, it looks so cool. It looks great. And again, the action sequences, the fight scenes, the cinematography, it's so fast, and yet it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks out of this world unbelievable. It just looks so damn good. It's like, it's some of the best you've ever seen. And again, I love the way the movie was able to blend the 2D animation with the 3D animation. Absolutely spectacular. Some of the best I've ever seen. It's truly phenomenal. And all in all, guys, I freaking love this movie. It was definitely worth the wait. The animation's spectacular. The characters are as great as ever. I love what Akira did with Broly. They turn him from a bit of a joke into actually a genuinely sympathetic character. I really like Broly now. He's very interesting. I love what they did with Frieza, especially the joke. All in all, I love this movie. I thought it was fucking fantastic. I'll admit, the animation's a little iffy in some spots, but again, that's nitpicking. If I had one problem with this movie, it would have to be the opening. I would have to say the first, like, 25, maybe even 30 minutes of the movie, I think it could have cut that down a bit. It's mostly just exploring, like, the history of the Saiyans and Frieza and stuff like that. Like, we see how Frieza took over the planet of Vegeta, and we see, like, Paragus and Broly as baby. We see, like, Broly as a baby and stuff. We see Vegeta as a baby, Goku as a baby and stuff. And that stuff's cool and all, and I would love to see it, but, again, this goes on for, like, it's like the first, like, 30 minutes of the movie. And I'm like, you gotta cut that down, maybe 15, maybe even 20 minutes. I feel like it just goes on a little longer than it needs to. But, yeah, overall, it's still good to see. Like, again, I'm glad to see Bardock and Guinea be canon and stuff like that. I think that was kind of nice. Again, overall, I really do like this movie. I thought it was really fun. I think this might easily be probably the best Dragon Ball movie ever to be made right now. Because the animation's fantastic, the characters are great, Broly's sympathetic, I like what they did with him, the humor was really funny. All in all, I thought this movie was great. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, truly wonderful, and if you're a huge fan of Dragon Ball, I say, what are you waiting for? Check it out if you can. Now, let's dive into spoilers. This is the spoiler section. You've been warned. 3, 2, 1. Goku and Vegeta fucking snub Frieza with Broly. Like, they fucking tricked Broly into attacking Frieza, and it is the funniest shit in the world. It's like, Goku's literally like, have fun, Frieza, and then Frieza's like, wait, what? And then Broly just annihilates fucking Frieza. Fucking just goes on him and wails on him, and it is the funniest shit you will ever see. It is so goddamn funny. It was like the funniest shit in the world. And it was at that moment where Goku and Vegeta just kind of instant transmission right out of there so they could go fuse and turn into Gogeta. But overall, that was fucking hilarious. And then as, like, we're getting, like, that little scene where, like, Goku and Vegeta keep fucking up the fusion. Like, they turn to Fat Gogeta. I keep saying Vegito. Fat Gogeta. Then they turn to Old Vegeta. Gogeta. Why do I say Vegito? It's Gogeta. I know Gogeta. Okay, I know it's Gogeta. They keep turning into different forms. We keep cutting back to Frieza getting his ass whooped again. He even turns gold, and it's still not enough to kick Broly's ass. It's all around just... I just think it's fucking so funny how he kept cutting back and forth and stuff like that between these two funny skits. I thought that was hilarious. The battle between Broly and Whis, I know that's something a lot of people have been talking about, but yeah, that doesn't really happen. Basically, what you see in the trailer with Broly and Whis, like, you see, like, Whis dodging Broly's attacks. You basically saw it all. It was basically, like, a little, like, 20-second thing. Like, Whis doesn't even attack Broly once. And that's really where it ends there. It doesn't happen. So, yeah, that's kind of a sad thing we didn't see. Like, I remember when Whis and Broly were first fighting, like, the audience was like, oh, shit, that's about to go down. But it never goes down. We never see Whis actually fight Broly. It doesn't actually happen, which is kind of sad to see because I really wish we had actually... Yeah, I wish we actually got to see that. Ultra Instinct also doesn't happen in the movie. There's a sneak peek on YouTube right now that shows Goku charging up into Super Saiyan Blue. He briefly turns into Ultra Instinct for like a fraction of a second, but that's really about it. We never see him actually use Ultra Instinct. It never happens in the movie. Ultra Instinct's not a thing in the movie, okay? I mean, it exists, like, it's canon, but at the same time, it doesn't happen in the movie. That's what I'm trying to say. Now for the sympathetic backstory for Broly, because that's easily the most interesting part of the movie. We get, like, basically Broly at this point. In the original Broly, he was a angry, spoiled man-child. That's what he was. In this movie, he's an abused child. He's an abused child who doesn't know better. And I think that is way more interesting, like, because that's what the original Broly was kind of hinted at. They only hinted at the fact that Broly was this abused child who was trained as a baby to be this warrior and stuff like that. Like, his father was merciless. Paragus never really cared for Broly. He only saw him as, like, a weapon to be used to kill Vegeta and nothing more. This movie actually dives into it. We actually do get to see, like, how that played out. We actually get to see Broly as a child. And that fur pelt on his belt. We find out that he had a pet, in a way. He actually had a pet named Ba. Like, he actually had a pet and such. And Paragus, like, shot the ear off of this pet. Like, the animal was very large, by the way. And because Paragus didn't like the fact that Broly was playing with an animal and not training, so he shot the ear off the animal, so Broly took the pelt of the ear and turned it into that like, little thing on his waist, that coat, I guess. And now that's his. Like, he actually, basically, he had a pet, and that pelt he keeps around his waist is to remind him of his lost pet. They don't say it died, But at the same time, like, it did lose its ear and stuff like that, and Broly never saw it again. So it's either assumed the animal ran off or it did, in fact, die. But basically, it's like, no! Fucking Ba! It's so sad. It's like, it's actually really sad. And Sheila and the old guy, they're like really sad about it. They're like, and they try to convince Broly that, like, dude, your dad's a really bad person. Like, you don't have to listen to him and stuff like that. And yeah, there's a scene where Sheila like steals Paragus' remote that he uses to keep Broly under control. Like, should he go too far and stuff. Like, she takes that remote and just breaks it because she doesn't support child abuse at all, which, I mean, who the hell does? But basically, yeah, that won brownie points for me with her because I really like her. She's a great character, too. And yeah, but for some reason, Broly's like, it's not nice to say bad things about father. And I'm like, dude, this is actually really good. Like, that's how real abused kids are like. They don't just instantly start rebelling against their dad. Like, they can't just do that. Like, no, it kind of makes sense for him to still want to be with his dad and still kind of do what his dad tells him to. Like, it makes perfect sense. And it's like really it really is sad, and you do feel really sympathetic for him. And then later in the movie, when Frieza kills Paragus, he kills Paragus to trigger Broly to get him to his ultimate power. And that's how Broly goes Super Saiyan for the first time. Like, yeah, Broly could never turn Super Saiyan before this. And then that was the first time he did go Super Saiyan. And in his Super Saiyan form, he's rivaling fucking Blue. And it's fucking crazy. And that's when he snaps and tries to kill Frieza, which was, again, the funniest scene in the entire goddamn movie. But, yeah, overall, it's still, like, incredible the way, like how, like, they really did change Broly and made him from this kind of man-baby joke of a character and turn him into genuinely a very sympathetic and very relatable character. Again, I think Broly is easily the most interesting part of this movie, and I really like the fact, again, it was very satisfying to see that in the end of the movie, Sheila and the orange guy, they used the Dragon Balls that Frieza collected to wish Broly back to his homeworld, to where he grew up, so that Gogeta can't kill him. So, yeah, and they're able to escape. They're able to get away from Frieza because Gogeta is able to stop Frieza from killing them. And they go off to find Broly and stay with him and stuff like that. So the movie kind of ends with Broly, Sheila, and the orange guy, whose name I still can't remember. They're off on that planet by themselves now. And then Goku appears and gives them some capsules that Bulma prepared for them. So now they have a little house on the planet that they can live in now. And Broly says, well, Broly doesn't say it, Goku says it. Goku says, like, as long as I can come back to fight Broly every once in a while, you know, I'll keep coming back and bringing y'all more stuff. And it's like we can be friends and stuff like that as long as I can come back and keep fighting Broly and stuff like that. And Broly, he doesn't talk much in this movie, but he kind of smiles and nods, like, okay, that's cool. And then Sheila's like, what's your name? And I like what Goku says here. The final line in the movie was, my name's Goku, but Broly, you can call me Kakarot. I was like, dude, that was a pretty cool line for Goku to say there. Like, he wants that's pretty cool that he wants other Saiyans to call him Kakarot. That feels really cool. I like that. That was really nice. But yeah, so by the end of the movie, Paragus is dead. Frieza left. Frieza's alive too. He left and stuff like that. He and his force are still terrorizing the universe, which I'm sure we'll deal with in the series. And Broly, Sheila, and the orange guy, they're living on that planet now. But Goku and Broly are supposed to be friends now, and yeah, I guess we'll see Broly again in the next show, which I hope we see, because I want to see more of Broly in the show, because, dude, Broly's fucking awesome, alright? He's great, I love it, and I want to see more of Sheila, I want to see more of the orange guy, even though I don't remember his name. I think he's nice. I want to see how Vegeta reacts to all this, but like, what? You befriended him? And it'd be kind of funny, that'd be kind of funny to see. Overall, yeah, I honestly really like the direction they took with this movie. Again, I like the fact that they didn't just kill Broly off. Like, it makes sense to kill Paragus, but Broly I'm glad they left alive, which is great. I love the fact that they did that. Bottom line, I absolutely love this movie. Again, I think the opening could have been cut down a little bit to maybe about 20 minutes. I think that goes on a little too long. There's some issues with the animation I think is a little wonky. But outside of that, I fucking love this movie. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was great. I thought it was a fun movie all around. It's still a Dragon Ball movie by the center of it. And again, if you've never seen Dragon Ball in your life, you're probably not going to get anything out of this movie. But if you are a fan of Dragon Ball, if you've been keeping up with the show over all the years, you watch Super, then you're probably going to love this movie because it is absolutely a blast to watch. The animation's spectacular. Cinematography's gorgeous. Broly is great. The humor is hilarious. It is all around a fantastic movie. I highly recommend you watch it if you are a fan of Dragon Ball. And if you're not a fan of Dragon Ball, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Go watch the show, go watch Super, and then go watch Broly, because it is fucking awesome and you will love it. I know you will. Alright, but that's overall my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super Broly, guys. I honestly loved it. It was worth the wait, and I thought it was fantastic. Have you guys seen Broly yet? Let me know in the comments below and tell me what you guys thought about it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode. Stay awesome, guys. Rock on.